What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, August 13th already. All right, trading headlines. That's what I'm going to talk about today. What do I mean by trading headlines? And I bet a lot of you do it. A lot of you do it. Trading headlines simply means you have no real approach to trading other than to just wait for some sensational headline to pop up, and then you reflexively make a move in the market, for example. And I bet you it's very common with this president, with Trump. One day he's putting tariffs on China, and so you sell. And the next day he's taking the tariffs off, or he is delaying the implementation of the tariffs, and so that day you buy it back, or you reverse and go long. Trading headlines is sheer folly. I mean, look at the last 2 days. I mean, yesterday, everything was looking dark and gloomy and terrible because the trade tensions resurfaced and there was problems with the Chinese currency. And now, and the market was down 370 points. And today, all of a sudden, Trump is delaying the tariffs. Those tariffs, which just a couple of weeks ago he said he was putting back on. So everybody who sold into the hole yesterday is now buying it back today, maybe reversing their position and going long. You could see how this is obviously a very rapid path to ruin. Trading headlines simply means you have no approach. You are guessing. You are rolling the dice. You're doing what every other uneducated and uninformed person is doing. And you have talked yourself into believing that somehow this is going to make you fantastically rich. Well, I hate to break the news to you, but if you haven't already figured this out, it is going to bring you to the poorhouse very quickly. And this kind of goes into something, I wanted to make a separate video on this about short-term trading. This is the panacea of everybody out there. Maybe not everybody, but 99.99999% of the people. I know a lot of people who come to me. It's probably their dream in their minds. They want to be able to be active in the markets. Remember, I said for most people, the motivation is not really making money. For most people, the motivation is something else, and it's usually action. They want that action. They maybe are not conscious of that. Maybe they won't admit that. Maybe they will say, hey, look, I want to be in the markets to make money. But in reality, you can tell by the decisions they make and by their behavior that their real motivation is action and not money. Because if it was money, you would do the things necessary to get the money. And most of the time, nearly all of the time, that requires monumental patience and discipline. But people want this kind of holy grail of short-term trading, and they think they're going to get into the markets with some kind of magical system, the system fairy, right? And they're going to trade every day, and they're going to ring that cash register every day, or every week they're going to make money, and that's going to become a steady income stream for them. And they're just going to go on like that, and everything is going to be wonderful. And the times that the system messes up will be very modest, little, manageable hits that they might take. But then it automatically gets right back on track and starts to produce that steady stream of profits that they were looking for. That does not exist. Or okay, let me change that statement. I will say that exists only very, very special conditions. And I'll tell you what those conditions are. Basically, those conditions have to do with some sort of guaranteed, and usually that means insider trading. Whether that is the algo traders who have their multi-million-dollar servers positioned as close to the exchanges or the information signals as possible. And when I say multi-millions, I gave examples in the past of, you know, some of these algo shops pay 20, 30 million to put their servers next to, for example, the CME out there at their main data center in Illinois. I'll give you a personal example. I spent many, many years, I was a floor trader and a member of 4 exchanges I was down in the pits trading the S&Ps in Chicago, oil in New York, gold in New York, New York Futures Exchange, the stock index futures. There was a time in my career when I had a locked in profit every single time I traded. And that was usually, or that was only, I should say, the times when I had relationships with brokers who were executing orders in the pits where I got the edge every single time. In other words, I was able to buy on the bid and sell on the offer every single time. Those are very rare situations that very few people, let alone firms, have. In my personal case, once those relationships disappeared, once they went away, and I actually had to guess or figure out where the market was going, my performance went totally down the tubes. I lost, okay, over time. Maybe didn't lose day to day, but I tried to continue in that same fashion of short-term trading, thinking that I was going to make that money every single day when I no longer had the edge. And that was from a guy who was in the pits, on the floor, paid no commissions, had instantaneous ability to act on the markets because the order flow coming in, we were in the trading pits, we were able to beat anyone from the outside. When that edge went away, it was impossible to maintain that short-term profitability. Now, if you think you can do that based off of looking at chart patterns or something like that on a daily basis, you are absolutely out of your mind. That cannot happen. However, and this is not meant to dissuade you from moving forward if that's your goal to become a trader, but you have to understand that it is the long term that makes you money. It is time that makes you rich. I have said it so many times before. And what does that time entail? Normally, that entails a period of waiting, of doing nothing. Either that's for the perfect situation where conditions are right, when you can make your move, or in a case of having a position on and holding it to fruition, holding it till its end result. And that takes a lot of time, that takes a lot of sort of grinding, where the emotional aspect within you will always tend to make you sabotage unless you have control over that. I've had people, many people, former subscribers, people who comment on this channel, how long are you going to hold it for? Holding doesn't work. It is the only thing that works unless you, that and an outlook and an understanding, a correct outlook and a correct understanding. Unless you have a kind of a situation that, for example, I had in the past when I was a floor trader, or what these algo shops have when they invest tens of millions of dollars to put their servers right near the information source, which you're not going to have, then this goal of being the short-term trader with this steady money flow coming in every day to you, or maybe even every week, that is out the window. And this is reality, what I am telling you. This is reality, what I'm telling you. And getting back now to the first thing I mentioned here, which is the headline traders, I mean, I look at this in amazement. And I look at this really with a very big smile on my face, because this just translates into money in my pocket and money in the accounts of my subscribers. Because we do not jump in and jump out every single day like some manic behavior that everybody else does. Reflexive, without thinking, looking at a headline, thinking that they're the only ones who sees that headline. It is absolutely stunning when I see this, because it is a free giveaway of cash by the millions of market participants who think that they are smart by jumping in and jumping out whenever a headline appears. And I'm not trying to denigrate or make fun of individuals who have no clue as to what they're doing. Frankly, I'm happy they exist, because as I said, that puts money in my pocket. But so much of Wall Street operates on the same pattern. So it's out there for you to take advantage of. But again, it comes back to, number one, knowing what you really want. Do you want to make money, or do you want the action? If you want to make money, You have to behave in a certain way to bring that money to you. If you want to make action, and again, I'll say this, that most people aren't able to distinguish or aren't aware of what their true motivation is. You got to be introspective on this. You got to think about it. But it's out there if you want it. Keep on headline training, people, because I'm there to take your money. Bye.